Welcome to Craft Cannabis TV. I'm really happy to be speaking to Professor Learnmore Kambizi, who has a PhD in plant science and is a lecturer at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Welcome to Craft Cannabis TV.
Thank you very much, Trenton. Thank you very much. I'm humbled to be on TV.
Great. So I'm really happy you're joining us because, you know, we focus so much on cannabis, and which is obviously a medicine, whereas your background is plant medicine in the broader scheme, and cannabis is one of those sort of plants. So I'm really interested to get into detail about plant medicine. But before we go into that, just give us a bit of background on how you got into plant medicine. What was your journey into that space?
I grew up loving plants in general, but I was focusing on plants that are used for food and medicine. It so happened that one day, that was when I was doing my master's, I went to the village. And it so happened that one of the children who were walking in the dark was bitten by a snake. And the child was right in front of me. Wow. And it was in the middle of nowhere. I'm saying clinics and hospitals, they were very far from where we were. And I was in a panic mode. And the elderly people, I told them that the child has been bitten by a snake and the leg was swollen. And I was panicking. I went to rush to get my car so that I could take the child to the hospital, which was quite far. And they told me to calm down and relax. These are people that they've never been to school. And I'm like, no, how can they calm me when the child is, the snake is venomous? And they said, don't worry, come. They took me, went by the bush close to the house, and they told me to pick a plant. And I did that. They were giving me instructions on what to do until they put some incisions on the leg, and the leg was swollen, and we had to rub something on the plant that we used. And they told the child to go and sleep. The child went to bed, but I also went to bed, but I never slept because I was worried about the child. But that we wake up, then the child is dead. But when we woke up, I was the first one to go and check the child early in the morning, and the leg was normal. Everything was perfect, no problem at all. Wow. That's when they told me that, young man, you've been to school, but we know a lot more than you do when it comes to herbal medicines. From that day, I was challenged and I said, this is the field that I want to pursue because we can save lives. We can use plants that are at our disposal for the benefit of our own people. So that's how I ventured into herbal medicine.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. I really want to dig into this because it's a big thing at the moment. Plant medicine is becoming a big trend. But for those of people who don't know, can you explain what phytomedicine is?
Phytomedicine is the same thing as saying herbal medicine, where we derive therapeutic principles that have got healing properties. So these can be used as a whole plant or plant parts, but in a nutshell, where phyto, it means a plant. Medicine, which is medicine. So we're talking of medicines that we derive from plants that we can use at an elemental level, but having very interesting benefits of healing our people in a holistic manner.
Someone was saying something interesting to me today. I haven't heard this perspective. They were going that we always look at sort of plant medicine and herbal medicine as alternative medicines, but actually those should be medicines and all the pharmaceuticals should be the alternative medicines. So it should be the other way around. Would you agree with that kind of principle?
You are very right. I always teach my students that probably more than 70% of the drugs that we have, they come from plants. So the orthodox medicine, it is the alternative. The pharmaceuticals, they depend on herbs. So herbs is the basic, is the base that is the foundation of medicine that we need in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, they're kind of very intertwined. Let's talk about this evolution of plant medicine. Cannabis is obviously the biggest one in the media at the moment, but we know there's a lot of talk of psilocybin being legalized, and there's a lot of other kind of plant medicine that is being experimented and tested at the moment. What is your opinion on the plant medicine movement globally at the moment?
Tell you what, I'm so excited with the new wave that has come up now, where young people like you and I, we've now realized the critical importance of this herbal medicine. You know, when I read and I see what is happening in China, for example, in Asian countries, they value herbal medicine to the extent that it's so crucial and very critical. But now with this evolution, now I want to compare from the time I started doing herbal medicine and now. You know, at that time, many young people would shun herbal medicine, would associate it with something that is to do with, you know, it's very inferior, it is to do with witchcraft and so forth. But things have changed. Our eyes have been opened, and we are moving very fast as far as I'm concerned, but only a few things that needs to be put in place so that at least it's become fully fledged for the benefit of our people.
And am I right in saying there are two different sides to plant medicine in some way? And this is just my, you know, I don't know, I'm not deeply into the space. Okay. But you've got plant medicine in the sense that something you eat that could be nutritional. It could affect your body in a positive way to heal an ailment. But then you've also got plant medicine, which also deals with psychology. So with psilocybin and cannabis that deal with anxiety, depression, PTSD, those kind of troubling things that are quite prevalent and becoming more prevalent in the world as we move forward. Do you see them as two different sort of sides to plant medicine, the physiological side and then the sort of psychological side? Are they split into those two different camps, so to speak?
It depends on one stage. You may want to split it at one stage, but be that as it may, the availability of herbal medicine, those plants, at the end of the day, the main objective is for the well-being of humans. My well-being, because I become healthy if physically I don't have any disease, if psychologically I'm sound, you know, my sound mind. So all those is healing, because health is not measured only by the physical strength. I may be physically fit, but mentally unstable. So herbal medicine, be whatever way you want to take it, they come together, because the whole idea is to improve my well-being. So I'll give you an example where there are some certain plants that we need to use in areas where people are sick. Just putting plants around them will make them feel much better and even improve in terms of their health. So one way or the other, they converge, because the whole idea is to save lives and my well-being so that I become healthy each and every day.
Yeah, there's a really beautiful saying I read. You know, eat your food as your medicine, or you will end up eating medicine as your food.
Yes.
Now, in the modern day and age, you know, a lot of older and elderly people are eating medicine as their food, because there are just benzos and opioids being thrown at people left, right, and center. You've done a lot of work trying to bridge the gap between the more traditional pharmaceutical industry and the plant medicine industry. What are some of the challenges you have trying to bring those two worlds together?
Man, this journey has got its own ups and downs. The first one that I can tell you is that the legislation has not been so proactive in terms of promoting herbal medicine, to the extent that the orthodox medicine will see traditional healing as something that is inferior, especially when we're using plants. Something that is dirty, something that is not standardized, something that is not up to, you know, all those negatives that are associated with it. At the same time, when I'm dealing with traditional herbal practitioners, they also do not trust orthodox medicine. They say, you come, you ask me about the plants, what we use them for, and then you take it. Before you know it, you're making lots of money out there. So there hasn't been any trust between the two sides. But my coming in, I was like, look, here I am. I'm one of your own. I'm your child. I grew up using plants, both for food and medicines. And I even know quite a lot about them. I don't even need to consult anyone. But here I am, let's work together for the benefit of our people. So in trying to bridge that gap, it's like I'm the middleman, you know, trying to bring the orthodox medicine, because when it comes to that, I'm also involved. When it comes to the grassroots, I'm also involved. So now when I speak to them, we come together and they do understand me. and I do understand their concerns. And when I speak, they also buy into what I say. So we need more young people to come on board so that we can bridge this gap.
Yeah, I think one of the other things is that cannabis specifically is the first drug in the history of mankind to ever have been driven by the consumer as opposed to being driven by the medical industry. And I think to a large degree, psilocybin could potentially be the same. It's been driven by people who have been taking it and going, well, this is working for me. So at some point, as that gets critical mass, the medical industry have to take note. I mean, if you look at cannabis and the medicinal benefits of cannabis, and then you look at the long history of prohibition, it's a travesty that we have not had access to this plant for so long. It's immoral in many, many ways. What do you think some of the challenges are to taking the plant medicines like cannabis mainstream and psilocybin in particular? What do you think some of the global challenges are in terms of making sure that people have access to those and they become more accepted in communities?
The only challenge that I see is that the process of decriminalizing it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's because if one young man is seen growing it out there, he's a criminal. Even if that person is growing it for the benefit of his family, for his own benefit, it's like, no, he's a criminal, because the moment you use it, it's like you are going on a spree to kill people, to destroy property, to cause mayhem in society. So that could be one of the biggest challenge, and the stigma that has been associated with it. Just seeing with a few, of cannabis, it's like, where did you get it from? How did you get it? No, it's a big story.
Yeah.
But it should not be that way, because if we educate our people, I'm telling you, we'll go far, because that's the only way. Because we need to know how to grow it. We need to know the benefits. We need to know even how to use it. I can give you an example of sugar. Sugar, as sweet as it is, overuse of it can be poisonous to you.
Sure.
So let's treat cannabis just like any other plant that has got benefit, high value plant. Then we put mechanisms in place so that our people can benefit at the end of the day. And of course, on the other side, it's all about money as well. There's some that will tell us don't do it, but elsewhere it is done and people make lots of money and make lots of profit.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges with plant medicine is it's a very homeopathic approach. So when it comes to cannabis, and this is one of the biggest challenges that the pharmaceutical industry have had, if you take one paracetamol, it's going to give you, this effect, whereas each person is different, metabolisms are different, and people want this quick fix. So different strains have different impacts on different people, and I think that has been very difficult for the sort of more traditional industries to grapple with in terms of how they dose. How do you think that cannabis is going to benefit the African continent?
My friends, I strongly believe that if mechanisms are put in place properly, African people will benefit in a big way, in the sense that we'll start from the growing aspect of it, training people how to grow it, those that will grow it, looking after it, even the soil, studying of the soil only, let alone the soil, you create employment, capacity building, besides the final product that we're talking about. So it's a whole chain of benefits that we can derive, from young people to the elderly people, to the educated to the uneducated. All of us, if we put our heads together and streamline and put things in place, tell you what, Africa will never be the same again.
Yeah, well, I absolutely agree 100%. I think one of the key things at the moment is, legislation is around the corner, or the announcement of new legislation is around the corner in South Africa specifically. And one of the things we're obviously pushing hard for is to make sure that the 9,000, I believe it is, illegal farmers in South Africa, and the guys growing in the townships, etc., and selling matchboxes of cannabis at the taxi rank, how do we make sure those people are not marginalized and pushed out of the equation? Because that would be very, very, well, that would just be a massive issue for our whole industry. Do you have any opinion on a model that might work in the space, sort of a hybrid of sort of an international and African model? What's your opinion on the best way forward?
Like I said, the best way forward is to bring all the stakeholders together, so that we can, because I may talk of a model here, that the other part may say, no, it doesn't work for us, because each stakeholder is trying to protect his territory or her territory all the time. That's how it is. But I want to see a situation where every stakeholder is given an opportunity. Every stakeholder is given a chance. Every stakeholder is given a voice. Every stakeholder is considered as important at every stage. Once we have done that, it's a win-win situation. It's not like the other part will benefit at the expense of the other. No, all of us, including the higher education sector, the tertiary industry, we should be at the forefront, teaching our own people, helping our own people. People like you and I being at the forefront, demystifying any myth that have been associated with this kind of industry. But I want to believe that if we put our thinking caps, we'll be able to get somewhere and change the world for the benefit of our own people.
Absolutely agree. Demystification, I think, is a real key takeout, and collaboration and working together, not taking a Western international model and trying to implement it into an absolutely unique environment. So I totally agree with you. Professor Learnmore, thank you so much for your time. I think you're doing amazing things, and I look forward to getting to know you more and to learning more about plant botany. It's a fascinating topic, and I really do believe that plant science is going to revolutionize the world in the next sort of 10, 20 years. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Trenton. Remember, together we can make it. Yes, we can. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day. Okay.
Take care.
Cheers.
This is Prof Cannabis TV. Watch our channel for more on plant medicine, on cannabis, on health and wellness, everything good about this world. Take care.